Hey, let's talk about soap. Can we? Let's talk about TV. Let's talk about all the things behind the scenes. So can we talk about it? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Hi, I'm Alora.
I'm Shanice.
And I'm Stella.
And welcome to
Let's Talk About Soaps.
Today we have another great show for you. Yes, we have a very special guest here. Joining us by Skype from
Fredericksburg, Virginia, we have the author, Dr Boudreau, who has written a book that's near and dear to soap fans' hearts.
Yes.
This book is called American Business and Daytime Dramas, and it delves specifically into the tragedy that soap fans had to deal with last year when two of their mainstay favorite soaps were canceled, All My Children and One Life to Live. This book delves into the machinations of the higher-ups at Disney and ABC as they have tried to go ahead and annihilate an entire genre of American television.
Yes. Well, Shanice, let's not wait no longer. Let's introduce our special guest, Don. How are you doing today? We welcome you to Let's Talk
Welcome
About
to
Soaps.
Let's Talk
Hi,
About
Don.
Soap. Hi.
Yes, we want to hear about this book.
Hi,
First
thank
of all,
you.
we want to know, how are you doing today?
Wonderful.
Okay,
Great to be here. It's a tremendous honor to be with you ladies.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, tell us
Thank
about
you.
your book. We want to know.
My book is titled American Business and Daytime Dramas, and as a gift to all of your viewers during the month of July, it is available to them for free on Smashwords. So they can go on to Smashwords and type in the coupon code in the right-hand column, and they will have the book for free. They can download it onto as an ebook.
Okay, wow.
I wrote the book based out of my frustration and anger at ABC Disney for their cancellation of One Life to Live and All My Children. I believe they were committing a tremendous injustice to the genre. I believe they were making a very a decision based upon age discrimination against the baby boomer generation here in America. They focus on a female demographic of a very young age, and they exclude people, middle-aged people throughout this country. Wrongly so, I believe. I think they're damaging their own economic self-interest in the process. So you have ageism and sexism finding its way into this subject. People were angry all across the country, soap viewers, and they flocked to Facebook. This time they had social media. They didn't have it in the past when soap operas were being canceled by networks historically. Times have changed. We have the internet being more sophisticated, Facebook, Twitter, real-time Twitter. Fans all across America flocked and created pages of protest, mobilizing action against ABC Disney, Bob Iger, Ann Sweeney, Brian Franz, and it went beyond just the leadership of the corporation. The fans began contacting the ABC affiliates all across the country and the corporate advertisers. This was unexpected by ABC Disney. They never experienced this type of an outlash of fans protesting.
Now, Don, you were just talking about how Disney and ABC, they were not expecting the backlash that they received when they canceled All My Children and One Life to Live. And even in your book, you say how they were expecting the soap fans to maybe, you know, to definitely give a little backlash that possibly would last maybe a couple of days, a couple of weeks at the most. Little have they expected this fight to be going on over a year later.
Exactly.
So What do you think was in their heads when they first decided, okay, we are going to go ahead and cancel this, for many people, lifelong institution that they've grown up with? I know I am one of those people that they have grown up with, and we're just going to take it away and replace it, but the soap fans are going to come back around. What do you think made them think that that was going to be a good idea?
I think there were several motivations, one of which I think was greed. We have Susan Lucci in her memoir, for example, noting that she was told that the replacement shows were 40% less expensive to produce than the soaps. So I think it was probably pitched at the higher levels of Disney as, hey, we can cut our costs by 40%, we can increase our profits. These soap fans, they'll watch whatever. We can train them like, dare I use, I love my dogs, so I hate to use the word dogs. But, you know, we can train them like some lower animal to watch whatever it is that we put on.
Right.
And, you know, so we'll put on a food show to make them fat, and then we'll put on an exercise show to keep them thin. And thinking that, you know, we were going to flock en masse and support that and support the sponsors. And so fans said, no, we will turn off ABC, and we will protest Disney.
Exactly.
And my family and friends do that as well.
Now, Donald, can you please speak about how powerful what you view as the power of the soap fans as a result of ABC's decision to take off All My Children and One Life to Live? You did the research. You wrote the book, American Business and Daytime Dramas. What conclusion have you made about the power of the people?
It's
How powerful
tremendous.
are we?
Oh, it's tremendous. The soap fans are, the median age of All My Children was 57. The median age for the viewers of One Life to Live was 56. So this is the baby boomer generation. We are the first television generation in the United States. We are extremely powerful. We buy things. We're not dead yet. Most of us are still working. We vacation. We contribute to our communities. We volunteer. We're pursuing second, third, and fourth careers. But we watch our soap operas, and we want our scripted programming back. We're living longer too.
Exactly.
We're staying healthier. We're eating better. We're exercising. The Nielsen research has proven that it's a foolish business decision to ignore tens of millions of baby boomers. 18-year-olds, yes, they buy, but they don't have the purchasing power that the baby boomer generation has. And the networks they have bought into this 40-year conspiracy, which was hatched by ABC at a time when they were losing their ratings 40 years ago. I've documented that in the book. And they're losing tens of millions of dollars by not treating the soap opera genre with the respect that it deserves.
Exactly.
And I was trying to understand why. Why do you three ladies and I think differently about this? And I'm trying to understand why does it seem like we're coming from different worlds than ABC Disney? I couldn't figure it out. And the conclusion I've come to is that Los Angeles remains the entertainment capital of the world, but it worships youth culture.
Yes.
It worships youthfulness. They don't want seasoned actors and actresses. They want fresh, and fresh is 20 years old with a bachelor's degree. I think they greatly disrespected our actors and actresses on our shows. I think they greatly disrespected the crews and their families. And I think a serious injustice was committed related to One Life to Live and All My Children, and my anger propelled me to write the book.
Don, I just want to ask you, as you being a soap opera fan, what would you have suggest to them to keep the soap operas on air instead of just canceling? What would you suggest to draw the young people, if that's what they want the young people to watch the soaps? What would you suggest?
I would suggest that if ABC Disney, if Brian Franz had half a brain in his head, which he didn't have, he would have taken the Ford brothers and he would have put them on a bus, with or without their shirts, and he would have taken them to every top college and university campus in the United States. You would have had your next generation of soap watchers.
Exactly.
And they would have bought any product that any corporation put on the screen. But they were too foolish to do it.
I think they rushed. They didn't think about it. It's rushed, like you said, it's about money. Now they want losing.
And Don, one thing that you were just talking about previously, you were talking about disrespect. And this is something that you also talk about in your book. And you were talking about disrespect for the soap actors and disrespect for all the people who work on, at the network for the soaps and whatnot. But something that you specifically also talk about in the book is disrespect to the fans. Because not only did Disney and ABC go ahead and cancel this and almost kind of throw it in the fans' face, like, we're going to cancel this stuff. Then, as, the fans are, trying to be strong and, fight out the last couple of shows that they had with their, second family, because that's what the soaps are to a lot of the soap viewers, a second family.
Absolutely.
And while we are spending that quality final moment with our second family, they keep throwing these commercials at us for this new show that they're going to replace our show with. And that was another extremely high level of disrespect that they put on the soap fans. How did you feel about that?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and I did reference it in the book. You've interviewed, I know you ladies have interviewed great Eileen, Kristen, Foxy Roxy Balsam.
Yes.
And, I actually met her in Newark, and we spoke for a while when I was at the One Life to Live fan event last year. And she's just a great lady. And she showed up at Lincoln Center, and like she said, ABC made this decision, and they're stuck with it. It's tremendous level of respect to loyal viewers, and I think that's something that's very important. When you have someone that's a loyal viewer, and soap fans we are renowned for being diehard loyalists. We will follow our shows to the end of the planet, and that means that we will have allegiance to the sponsors of those shows as well. So this disrespect, Robin Strasser, who I love dearly, Dorian Lord, United States Senator, she deserves to be treated with great respect. And she told Mr. Franz, you cannot spit in the soap fans' face and expect them to follow you on to other shows. They will not do it. And isn't that what you have to love about them?
Yeah. Now, you have a chapter where you actually address this whole upcoming Katie Couric show, where she's actually going to, the plan is she's going to
take General Hospital's
time slot, and General Hospital is going to lead into the Katie Couric show. What is your take on? Do some prediction. This is what you've written about. This is what's near and dear to your heart. This is what you're passionate about. This is what we're passionate about here on Let's Talk About Soap. What do you predict? What can soap opera fans do to make sure that the message goes out to Katie Couric? Don't take that spot. Don't take that spot.
I've tried to tell her in that chapter. Soap fans are extremely powerful. They need to pick up the telephone, and they need to call these people. They have made a deal with her, Ann Sweeney, Bob Iger at Disney. They need to pick up the telephone. They need to call them. They need to write them. They need to tell them, this is not the television I want to watch. Katie Couric her history is she chases viewers who don't want to watch her. Historically, that's, her heyday was with Matt Lauer in the kitchen, and the truth is she never should have left. And disrespecting soap fans will not be tolerated. This is the most powerful generation on the face of the planet that has ever existed.
Yes.
And Hollywood had best wake up to it, because we're not going to take it anymore. It's over. This is done.
I have to say, my mother's a big soap fan. And, I'm here partly for my mom. I love my mom. She says that when she calls ABC, that she cannot get through, because you're saying soap fans, you have to call ABC. She can't get through. All she gets through is some sort of prompt where there's nobody on the other side. Now, you've done the research, like with the Facebook and the internet.
Well,
what is the power behind that? What can we do there?
I think there's, you can mail them bars of soap. I mail bars of soap. I even mail bars of soaps to their homes.
That's a real diehard soap
That's a
fan.
good one.
I don't know what the point with all that soap out in L.A., in Hollywood and Burbank, but soap fans, they can make their presence known. You go to the post office, you send them soap. You send them a letter.
I love it.
People were saying, Ann Sweeney said that, she gets fans protesting in the past that, we're just going to delete those calls. I find that despicable. I find that reprehensible conduct.
Wow.
This is not a way a major United States corporation treats its customers.
Right. It's not a
We are
communist country.
paying customers. It's obscene. It's unconscionable.
It's terrible.
Unacceptable behavior.
Now, Don, in your book, you have basically chronicled the entire events of the past year. In order, you have a timeline letting everyone know exactly what took place and when it took place. And in the beginning of this tragedy that started on April 14th of last year, you mentioned how ABC was somewhat prepared for the backlash. And I say somewhat because they had no idea how strong us soap fans were, but that they were somewhat prepared for the backlash that was coming at them, and they took some provisions for this backlash. Can you go a little bit deeper into that and the provisions that ABC took?
Well, when I say, the anecdotal evidence is that they were prepared. They knew that they were going to have a reaction, but they didn't realize the level of intensity or the duration of that reaction. It's not like they had form letters prepared to go out to people saying, hey, we understand your concerns, we're sorry, but here's the chew and the revolution, bon appetit, enjoy. A lot of times they really weren't being responsive to the fans. They weren't sending out letters. They really weren't engaging with the public. The silence in many ways was deafening from Burbank, which is again unfortunate, and it's certainly not good corporate customer relations in the second decade of the 21st century as a way to be treating your customers. I don't think they anticipated the fact that fans were organized, mobilized, and were going after corporate sponsors and ABC television affiliates nationwide, letting them know that we did not want the affiliate stations to support this alternative programming because we would not watch it. We would not support their corporate advertisers. This is the extremely powerful purchasing power that soap fans have in the marketplace. And we have proven over this past year, if you look at the timetable, you look at the sequence of events, it's very well documented. Robin Strasser was correct when she told Mr. Franz, you are going to fail. This will not work. The ratings at ABC are down. ABC doesn't want to advertise that fact, but the ratings are down. One of the replacement shows, The Revolution, is already going off the air as a result. fans will not support ABC Disney's efforts in eliminating this this genre.
Donald Boudreau, it is a huge accomplishment to write any book. You've written this book, the title of which is American Business and Daytime Dramas. How long did it take? What was the process? I mean, I know it was a labor of love. It was a family affair. You and your wife watched it since your child was young. What type of research and time was involved with it? What was the process for you?
It took me, I started writing it around the time of the cancellations. I thought it was a pretty sizable problem, and so what I tried to do was to cut it into pieces. And if you look at the various chapters in the book, you'll see the way that I dealt with it, and I just started writing vignette after vignette, chapter after chapter. Very happy to let your viewers know that the book is being offered for free this month on Smashwords. If they type in the coupon code in the right-hand column, they can obtain the book for free throughout all of through the 31st of July. So that's a gift for them for the summer of 2012 to enjoy as an ebook. And took me about a year to write it, and I used a lot of the soap journal articles that had been written, a lot of the Globe magazine pieces that had been done, the writings of Jamie Giddens, Nelson Bronco, a lot of the podcasts when soap actors and actresses are interviewed. There's a tremendous amount of podcasts involved. The book has a very extensive bibliography that also contains the videos, so that someone can go in and type in and listen to Allura. They can listen to Tessa's interviews across the street from Lincoln Center during the demonstrations. They can listen to Allura singing, to Brian Franz and company as he makes his way to his death sentence. And, you know, I've got Shanice's videos on there too, I'm pretty sure. You know, podcasts, so many articles, and a lot of books that have been written about Disney and the dysfunctional culture at Disney in recent years, and how it may be very unfortunate, my conclusions chapter, as to how a lot of very unpleasant behavior is taking place at the corporate level with ABC Disney. They really need to check themselves, and that's the focal point of my conclusions chapter. They've created a tremendous travesty in not treating these shows with the proper respect that they deserve. These shows should be watched all across the world, not just the United States. They should be marketed internationally. And in some cases, Procter & Gamble's done this with other soaps. They've been extremely successful. There are good business models out there that ABC has failed to take advantage of. ABC has failed to let other producers who could bring these shows back to their audiences, given the fact that I think a lot of it's embarrassment. They're afraid if someone else makes a tremendous success out of these, they're going to look even worse than they already do for the many misdeeds that they've already committed against soap fans in our shows.
Yeah. Now, Don, tell the viewers, you didn't just write a book, you're also a big, huge soap fan, and tell us how you got into watching soaps.
Well, Allura, the truth is I began watching One Life to Live 20 years ago. I was hooked on One Life to Live as a result of watching the show one night with my wife. It was her favorite show. Our daughter had just been born prematurely at 2 pounds 4 ounces. Came home from the hospital one night, and I said, well, I'll watch one with you. Well, 20 years later, that was a lot of episodes. I fell in love with One Life to Live and Landview. The actors and actresses, the crew, the writers, the director, tremendous work Valentini and Carlovati have done that are now with General Hospital. They were always treated, I feel, with a lot of disrespect as a New York soap by ABC. They were kept They were under a lot of restrictions, and they created the Taj Mahal on Manhattan Island with One Life to Live.
Wow.
One Life to Live was treated like a red-headed stepchild by ABC Disney, and it turned out to be the #1 soap for demo on American television.
Wow.
And what do? They go and cancel it.
Mhm.
This is more than an injustice.
Right.
This is something that will not stand. You have now mainstream business press picking up on this. This isn't just soap fans. This is business press. People in the business community are saying, you know what? This was a wrong-headed decision.
Yeah.
The ratings for these new shows aren't there. The network is hemorrhaging money. And meanwhile, One Life to Live and All My Children are off on a shelf gathering dust.
Right. Wow.
This cannot stand.
You can't.
Now, our producer of Let's Talk About Soaps, Tessa McKenzie, is a All My Children fan, and you wrote a chapter on why you love Susan Lucci. And please summarize, why do you love Susan Lucci? This is for you, Tessa.
I love Susan Lucci because notwithstanding all the, well, I think All My Children gets a particularly raw deal here. The raw deal that they get is there's very strong anecdotal evidence suggesting that the spew, as we soapers call it, the spew,
Yes.
also known as the chew, was in development for 1.5 years, being 40% less expensive to produce, and the ABC moved All My Children's cast cross country knowing it would be canceled.
Yeah.
This is beyond horrendous, that a company would engage in that level of conduct, having people sell their homes in a down market, pull their children out of school, move them to California, and then in a year-plus time fire them.
Mm-hmm.
This is unconscionable corporate behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Susan Lucci still holds her head high. She was deceived by ABC. She finally called Franz out in her memoir.
Wow.
That rare combination of arrogance, and I don't have the quote directly in front of me, but for all of those of you that get the book, you'll have a more accurate quote from Ms. Lucci. But she defended her show, and I think she retained a great deal of dignity under tremendous abuse, and for that I do love Susan Lucci.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
As I was reading your book, one thing that I kept saying to myself as I was reading it was, this is the voice of the soap viewer. Because not only do you research, all of the business information that needs to be researched for such a book, but then you actually go into the hearts of the soap fans. You go into the Twitter account. You go into the Facebook pages. You go into the soap fans' minds, souls, and hearts, and how they were felt throughout this process that they have dealt with. How was that to have to delve into the heart of the soap fan as it was breaking?
It was I went on Facebook and I would read their pleas on all different subjects, everything from Oprah, please save our soaps, through so many issues that fans were commenting on throughout the entire year, as the cancellations were taking place and after they had taken place. So I was able to try to bring that to the reader. I wanted the reader to understand that there were people all across the country trying to weigh in on these issues. And on the replacement shows, on The Revolution, on The Chew, on Mr. Mario Batali's background, for example, on whether or not Prospect Park was genuine or whether or not Prospect Park was a ruse designed to take the soap fans' wrath away from ABC Disney, because they didn't want their phones to be ringing off the hook every day.
Wow.
Was it a publicity stunt, if you will? to sell exclusive rights to a company and not have checked in advance that they had the financial wherewithal to bring these shows to fruition back to their audiences. This is not good corporate responsible behavior. This is not the type of business research which Disney ABC had a responsibility to perform for on its stockholders' behalf and their interests. It is therefore, this is where soap fans need to weigh in and say this is unacceptable.
Now, Donald, on this note, Shanice, I know I know you wanted to hear Laura sing a few bars of the song. Isn't that true? This is
Yes,
just an appropriate moment. Go ahead, Laura, go for it.
No, they're not going to take away our drama. No, they're not going to take away our romance. No, they won't take away our soaps. United we stand, divided we fall. Come on, let's show them, let's give it all. Let's show them that we stand true to what we say. Cause the real soap fan won't walk away. We won't walk away.
Thank you.
Don won't walk away. We won't walk away. That's right.
Thank you.
Bravo, bravo.
And Don, now, right before, I was actually so happy that you had brought this up, Prospect Park, because when you first mentioned Prospect Park in your book, you talk about kind of how the soaps are making a pathway into a new media avenue. How the soaps did that when they first started. How they were initially just a 15-minute radio segment, and then they transitioned into being a television show. And then all of a sudden now you were talking in the book that, you know, they are going to pioneer this new online watching where people will be able to watch these soaps online. So how did you feel? Because when I was reading that, you've seen my videos. And when I first heard about Prospect Park, I said it in a video. This basically, we're sending our soaps there to die. We're basically sending our soaps there to die. And when I read your book, I had my mind changed a little bit. Like, oh, okay, wait a minute. We were actually pioneering a new avenue of media that had not been pioneered. We were actually going to do something that had not been done before so that others could follow, like they've been following soaps. And then Prospect Park fell. How did that make you feel?
Well, very disappointed, like the majority of soap fans, absolutely. I have a chapter in the book where I talk about Erna Phillips and the birth of soaps on the radio. And I also have a chapter on the mother of modern soap opera, Agnes Nixon,
Yes.
the writer of One Life to Live and All My Children, who again deserves a tremendous level of respect from the entire American entertainment industry. This woman has created millions of jobs when you think about it over the years with these shows. She's a job creator. She's not a job destroyer. Was very heartbroken that Prospect Park was not able to come into fruition. But the point is that an opportunity was there had it been properly capitalized, because people are predicting the death of American television, moving on to the internet platform. Here was a perfect opportunity for a test bed, and these shows could have provided it. even for a company like an ABC, Disney, or another company, or other companies, and that was not allowed to happen. Much of that information, I'm sure, is not public, and eventually it will become public, but I was extremely disappointed. Soap fans have had their hopes repeatedly raised, and they've been repeatedly thwarted. And it's hard for a soap fan to come away and say, you know what, this pattern behavior seems awful orchestrated. It seems to be a roller coaster ride that ends up in disappointment.
Now,
But
Donald,
hopefully things will change.
Donald Boudreau, you're a passionate soap fan. You've written this book, and I know probably I've never written a book before. When you write a book, you become immersed in the material, and it becomes almost like a tunnel vision sometimes. That means that you are the perfect one to maybe predict what is going to happen. So I'm asking you, I'm not saying that, you know, what you're saying is going to come true. What is your prediction for what is going to happen with ABC and the soap operas? What is your prediction or prediction?
I would like to believe that soap fans will continue to bring pressure to bear on ABC Disney regarding the nature of its mistake that it has made and for corrective measures to be taken. If in fact it is the determination of ABC Disney to have nothing whatsoever to do with the soap genre, fine. There's a right way to do it, there's a wrong way to do it. I suggest to you they took the wrong way to do it.
Okay.
And I suggest to you the possibility that there is a way for them to get out of the corner. And the way that they can get out of the corner is release the shows. Okay. Release the shows to producers who will bring them back to their audiences. Because we soap fans are not going away. You ladies are not going away. I'm not going away, and millions of soap fans all across this country, and we will not go to take our children to Disneyland. We will not patronize your movies. We are not going to your amusement parks. We're not going to your hotels. Not going to happen. You need to bring these shows back to their viewing audiences. Yes. And if you're not willing to do it yourself, then sell them at a fair market price to someone who can do so. This denial and obfuscation has to stop, and the soap fans must continue to bring that pressure. ABC's ratings are tanking in many respects in the demos with the replacement shows. It's now common knowledge in the industry that they have made a mistake. Roger Friedman of Forbes magazine has published an article. He calls it, this is Disney ABC's new Coke. This is their new Coke. This is a business fiasco. And it's time for them to correct their mistake. It's not just soap fans anymore.
That's right. Is there any more questions?
Well, I think that as co-hosts of Let's Talk About Soaps, we are deeply indebted to you for writing this book. Your book is entitled American Business and Daytime Dramas, because you've documented what has been going on for the past year or so. And soap fans all over, I urge you to go to, what is it, Smashwords? To get the book. He's offering it for free for a month till July 31st, and it will be for the ebook will be $2.99 afterwards. So let's talk about the free offer that your book is. And do you agree? He has done a great service to soap genre.
It is honestly, and soap fans, I am now talking to you. This book is honestly what's in your heart. As I read it, I was like, this is what I was saying this whole time. This is what I've been trying to get people to understand. Why don't they get it? And one thing that you talk about, Don, is how ABC and Disney, they kind of are so pig-headed that the proof is in the pudding. The writing is written on the wall. They know what's going on, but they're so stubborn that they will not correct it.
Right. They don't want to admit they made a mistake.
They will not correct it. So soap fans, if you really want to read about what exactly, and some of you may even see some of your own Facebook or Twitter quotes in this book. Some of you I am actually friends with and have seen your quotes on Facebook, feeds in this book. This book speaks to everything that's in your heart in regards to these soaps, and it gives you education about what took place that led to the demise and the annihilation that they are trying to do of this genre. It's a must-read, fans. You have to get it. If you don't get it for free this month, spend the $3.
That's right. It's worth it.
Spend the $3. It's
also
worth it.
Motivative. It keep you up, going, do what you've been doing, and stay on. Your work is not done in vain.
Because our work is not done, so fans. Our work is not done at all.
That's right. It's not over. We got more to do. We're going to get our soaps back. It's the last thing we do.
Now, Dr. Boudreau, talk about the actual physical book, because in the press release it talks about the cover, the actual book. When will there actually be a tangible book for soap fans to get their hands on?
That is so. I'm so glad that your show appears in all 5 boroughs of Manhattan, because hopefully a publisher will be listening in.
Right.
It's a beautiful cover. It was designed by Jolene Naylor out in Missouri, and it is not a hardcover book at the present time, or a paperback book at the present time. I wanted to get it out very, very quickly, and that is the reason why I crafted it as an ebook. It's being sold on Smashwords, and it's also being sold on Amazon.com here in the United States, as well as in England, in the UK. So hopefully the New York publishing industry will listen to publisher.
And one thing I love about the cover of this book is it is a television with a bunch of static, basically. It's a television with nothing but static on the screen, which is basically what ABC has become now. A bunch of static. The shows,
got a cover right there.
the shows have,
You got a shot
there
of
it
the
is,
cover?
there's a shot of the cover, there we go. Love it.
Okay.
Love it. Because they have become just static. They're putting on shows we don't want to see, we have no interest in, we could care less about. So therefore, we're not watching it. So that is exactly why that television screen is nothing but static now, ABC, because you have become static.
That's right.
I mean, the book is chock full of chapters that are of great interest to soap fans, and anyone interested in bringing the soaps back to ABC. This is a must-read.
That's a perfect
American Business and Daytime Dramas by Dr. Boudreau. So you're going to check it out on Smashwords. Is there anything else that you want to add on to the show before we? Any message or anything you want to say?
I want to say to Tessa and Alora and Shanice and Stella that throughout the year when I was writing and I was feeling sometimes down and questioning whether I should stop or continue to press on, that I was very inspired by the work that you ladies have done. You've made a tremendous, significant contribution to this movement, and you don't realize how many people out there you've all inspired through your works and your skills. So thank you. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it very much.
And again,
I'll come back for the victory book, by the way.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you that, Don. I predict victory.
Okay.
We're gonna be victorious. We are too strong not to be victorious.
Right.
And I believe ABC is, seeing this, how strong we are. So you've kind of already prefaced that there will be one. So let me just ask you straight out: will we be expecting a victory novel once we have taken down ABC Disney.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
I'll come back.
We'll be waiting. We'll be looking for it.
Laura will sing again.
Okay. Yeah, we have a victory song.
So victory song, victory novel.
We'll sing it.
Yes, a victory song.
Thank you again for documenting something that's near and dear to the a lot of the people in the American public, because you have spoken for so many, the voice of the voiceless.
Yes.
Because you call on the telephone, they don't answer. You gave an excellent suggestion. Send soap. Send bars of soap. I think that's ingenious.
Box of soap.
Yeah, a box of soap. And, read your book. Read your book.
Make sure it's soap from a P&G sponsor. Because one thing that you also talk about is how when the soap genre first began in the beginning with the radio soaps, the 15-minute specials, they weren't necessarily taken to very kindly. They weren't necessarily that popular. But P&G made sure to stick with this project of the soap operas to make sure that they continue to sponsor and continue to let these be run. So when you send soap from a P&G sponsor.
And read American Business and Daytime Dramas by Donald G. Boudreau.
Yes, and keep doing what you do. We're going to keep our soaps alive.
Yes. Okay. Thank you
so much. I enjoyed you. It was a
Thank you, ladies.
I know
Great
that you
night.
had some technical difficulties because you are in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and you guys did just have this big monstrous storm over the weekend. So thank you, soap gods, for getting all the technical things in place that we were able to conduct and have this interview.
Yes.
This lets you
Thank
know,
you so
us soap fans, we will
Make it happen.
make it happen at any cost.
Yes. So it's such a pleasure. We hope to have you back real soon, Dawn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I look
Thank you.
forward to it.
Okay.
Until
Thank you.
again, on Let's
Talk
Talk
about
About Soap.
soaps.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Hey, let's talk about soap. Hey, let's talk about soap. Hey, let's talk about soap.
Of a very young age, and they exclude people, middle-aged people throughout this country. Wrongly so, I believe. I think they're damaging their own economic self-interest in the process. So you have ageism and sexism finding its way into this subject. People were angry all across the country, soap viewers, and they flocked to Facebook. This time they had social media. They didn't have it in the past when soap operas were being canceled by networks historically. Times have changed. We have the internet being more sophisticated, Facebook, Twitter, real-time Twitter. Fans all across America flocked and created pages of protest, mobilizing action against ABC Disney, Bob Iger, Ann Sweeney, Brian Franz, and it went beyond just the leadership of the corporation. The fans began contacting the ABC affiliates all across the country and the corporate advertisers. This was unexpected by ABC Disney. They never experienced this type of an outlash of fans protesting.
Genre of American television.
Yes. Well, Shanice, let's not wait no longer. Let's introduce our special guest, Dawn. How are you doing today? We welcome you to Let's Talk
Welcome
About
to
Soap.
Let's Talk
Hi,
About
Dawn.
Soap. Hi.
Yes, we want to hear about this book.
Hi,
First
thank
of all,
you.
we want to know, how are you doing today?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Great to be here. It's a tremendous honor to be with you ladies.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, tell us
Thank
about
you.
your book. We want to know.
My book is titled American Business and Daytime Dramas, and as a gift to all of your viewers during the month of July, it is available to them for free on Smashwords. So they can go on to Smashwords and type in the coupon code in the right-hand column, and they will have the book for free. They can download it onto as an ebook.
Okay, wow.
I wrote the book based out of my frustration and anger at ABC Disney for their cancellation of One Life to Live and All My Children. I believe they were committing a tremendous injustice to the genre. I believe they were making a very a decision based upon age discrimination against the baby boomer generation here in America. They focus on a female demographic.
Now, Don, you were just talking about how Disney and ABC, they were not expecting the backlash that they received when they canceled All My Children and One Life to Live. And even in your book, you say how they were expecting the soap fans to maybe, you know, to definitely give a little backlash that
Yes.
possibly would last maybe a couple of days, a couple of weeks at the most.
Yeah.
Little have they expected this fight to be going on over a year later.
Exactly.
So, what do you think was in their heads when they first decided, okay, we are going to go ahead and cancel this, for many people, lifelong institution that they've grown up with? I know I am one of those people that they have grown up with, and we're just going to take it away and replace it, but the soap fans are going to come back around. What do you think made them think that that was going to be a good idea?
I think there were several motivations, one of which I think was greed. We have Susan Lucci and
Hey, let's talk about show. Can we? Let's talk about TV. Let's talk about all the things behind the scenes. Show. Can we talk about it? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Hi, I'm Alora,
I'm Shanice.
And I'm Stella.
and welcome to
Let's talk about soaps.
Today we have another great show for you. Yes, we have a very special guest here, joining us by Skype from
Fredericksburg, Virginia. We have the author, Dr Boudreau, who has written a book that's near and dear to soap fans' hearts.
Yes.
This book is called American Business and Daytime Dramas, and it delves specifically into the tragedy that soap fans had to deal with last year when two of their mainstay favorite soaps were canceled, All My Children and One Life to Live. This book delves into the machinations of the higher-ups at Disney and ABC as they have tried to go ahead and annihilate an entire...
her memoir, for example, noting that she was told that the replacement shows were 40% less expensive to produce than the soaps. So I think it was probably pitched at the higher levels of Disney as, hey, we can cut our costs by 40%, we can increase our profits. These soap fans, they'll watch whatever, we can train them like, dare I use, I love my dogs, so I hate to use the word dogs. But, you know, we can train them like some lower animal to watch whatever it is that we put on.
Right.
And, you know, so we'll put on a food show to make them fat, and then we'll put on an exercise show to make them thin. And thinking that, you know, we were going to flock en masse and support that and support the sponsors. And so fans said, no, we will turn off ABC, and we will protest Disney.
Exactly.
And my family and friends do that
Exactly.
as well.
Now, Donald, can you please speak about how powerful what you view as the power of the soap fans as a result of ABC's decision to take off on